Welcome to the Time to Fly podcast. It's time to give your business wings and take flight to achieve more impact, influence, and income with unique perspectives, tools, and tips from successful entrepreneurs and business professionals to help your business fly. Here to educate, encourage, and entertain you with their own unique perspectives and experience, plus sharing anecdotes of growing up as cowgirls. Here's your host, Jill Fleming.
Hello, and welcome to Time to Fly podcast. I'm your host, Jill Fleming, and today I thought it would be fun to talk about taking a leap of faith and expanding your comfort zone. And I've been reflecting back over the years and the journey and really just kind of thinking about the journey so far and the journey yet to come. One of the things that keeps reoccurring as I think back of the choices that I've made on the journey to date is one of the things of being willing to take a leap of faith. And I was thinking back of the times that I've made a choice, taken a leap, and how it has shaped and expanded my comfort zone. Earlier this week, there was someone online on social media that asked, in 5 words, what is the advice that you would give to a emerging entrepreneur or someone in business? And the one thing that came to me was to get comfortable being uncomfortable. That has been one of the best skills that I have developed on the journey, is to realize that even though something is uncomfortable, that it will shift. And it's just a sign that you have stepped out of your comfort zone and you're expanding towards something bigger, something more. And one of the leadership trainings that I attended on the journey to date, it was talking about expanding your comfort zone. The thing that I learned there is they said that all your hopes, goals, and dreams are outside of your comfort zone. Otherwise, you'd already have them. And so the part of getting comfortable being uncomfortable is that exercise in expanding your comfort zone. As you continue to expand that comfort zone, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And at one point, your comfort zone expands to the point that it encompasses those hopes, goals, and dreams. But guess what? Once those hopes, goals, and dreams that you have are in your comfort zone, then you make new ones. And that, guess what? They're outside of your comfort zone. So you have to do the process all over again. So that process of getting comfortable being uncomfortable, and thinking back for me, all the times that I've taken that leap of faith, I've stepped outside of my comfort zone, I've gone towards something new, has really shaped my life to date. Thinking back, it's like I was the first person in my family to graduate from a 4-year institution. I went to college. I took that leap. I didn't necessarily have a blueprint from my family members on what that looked like. I had to figure it out for myself. And at times it was very uncomfortable. And graduating from college with a degree in business and finance, and then taking that leap again of growing up in the country, going to college in a relatively small community, and then getting a job in Des Moines, Iowa, and moving from South Dakota to Iowa to a city that I didn't know anyone, and moving there and taking that leap of expanding that comfort zone, starting a new career with a large Fortune 500 company. I didn't have a blueprint for that. I didn't have a way to do that. No one in my family had ever done that before. And so stepping into the uncomfortableness of doing something new, learning a new community and living in a large city and making new friends and all of the things that come with moving to a new area. One of the things that I've learned of the process of getting uncomfortable, of initially, one, you have to take that leap of faith. You have to determine what you want to do and go after it. You have to take that leap. You have to jump out into the unknown and go after what those hopes, goals, and dreams are. Because honestly, if you choose not to, your life gets really, really small. And I'm sure there's people in your life that that maybe they've taken a leap after something and it didn't work out. And they use that as evidence to not take a leap again, to not step out of their comfort zone, to stay in the routine, to not do anything new. For me personally, that isn't the life that I want to live. We're always going to have failures in life. A good friend of mine once told me, failure is not fatal. And what are they going to do if you fail? And for me, when I initially actually was looking at leaving my corporate job to choose self-employment, that friend told me failure is not fatal. And at that point in my journey, it really seemed like it of, oh my gosh, if I leave this great corporate job and I go out and choose self-employment, what if I fail? He's like, okay, what if you fail? What is the absolute worst case scenario? And for me, it was failure. And he's like, okay, so you fail. Are they going to take away your birthday? So I have to laugh at that because this is my birthday week. And he was right. They did not take away my birthday. I've had failures. I've had successes. And I've learned way more from the failures. And I've also learned more from just taking the leap and figuring it out as you go. You don't have to have it all figured out. And failure is not fatal. I'm one to show. When I went to leave my corporate job and move into self-employment and entrepreneurship, it opened up a whole new world for me that was very much outside of my comfort zone. And stepping out into the unknown can be very scary. It's really about surrounding yourself with people who have been out on the journey themselves. One of my favorite quotes is The Man in the Arena by Theodore Roosevelt, and it goes like this. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes up short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. I also liken that back to my experience growing up, being in rodeo and being actually in the arena. I grew up participating in rodeo and barrels and poles and breakaway roping, and I was the one actually in the arena. That taught me the lessons of sportsmanship, especially in timed events. You're only competing against the time clock. You're not competing against other people. You're competing against the time clock. And to have good sportsmanship and to cheer other people on who are having their own experience in the arena. I also kind of liken it to those people that are out in the arena who are practicing and getting better. And for those of us, we are out riding our horse and getting them in shape. Then the people in the stands who often, if they're on their team, are cheering for you, but maybe they're criticizing how, oh, well, you could have done this better, or, swing your rope this way, or take your turn this way. People having criticisms and things that they think you could do better. And I liken that to kind of the armchair quarterback in football. People that sit in front of the TV and second guess how it could be done better. But it's actually the people that are in the arena, that are striving, that are out there opening themselves up to failure. Those are the people that I want to take feedback from. Those are the people that I want to take coaching and mentoring from, because those are the ones that are actually in the arena. They're out there doing, they're out there striving. And I would encourage you, as you're taking a leap of faith, as you're stepping out and expanding your comfort zone, surround yourself with people in your inner circle who have done that themselves. One of the things that was really profound to me, I realized when I was leaving corporate America, is that people that I worked with in the corporate area, they thought it was a terrible idea. They pulled me into the room and tried to intervention me and talk me out of leaving my corporate job to move into self-employment. But then when I would talk to people who were self-employed, who were entrepreneurs, who had their own businesses, they were like, oh my gosh, it's great. You're going to be awesome. They were encouraging and would give me feedback of, hey, be aware of this, and give me pointers, and would point me towards different resources and different things that could help me be successful in what I actually wanted to do. Whereas people that haven't done that, they don't know. So everyone has their own sphere of reference. And so when you're looking for people to surround yourself as you're taking a leap of faith, if you're stepping out into the unknown, surround yourself with people who have done something like that. And oftentimes it's not your family or your closest friends. Your family and your closest friends, they want to keep you safe. And you stepping out of your comfort zone, out into the unknown, to them is not safe. And they'll try to talk you out of it because they also know you in your comfort zone. There's a book called The Dream Giver that talks about this, of leaving the land of familiar for the unfamiliar. And as you step out into the unknown, encountering border bullies, of the people at the border of your comfort zone trying to push you back in because they're more comfortable knowing who you are in that frame of reference in your comfort zone. And if you step out into this unknown, they won't know who you are anymore, and that's scary for them. Consider that when you're looking at your friends, that if you have a new business idea, or you're thinking of changing careers, or doing something that is just calling to you to step into, really be aware of who you surround yourself with, who you share that dream with, who you share that goal with, and make sure that they have that sphere of reference, that they've done things in their life that are outside of their comfort zone, so that they can give you pointers too of like, hey, these are things that I've learned on the journey. And that's what I'm sharing with you. Of on this journey, I've learned to be very selective on who I receive feedback from. I make sure that when I'm seeking feedback, it's not that I won't receive it. It's just I'm selective who I will receive it from. I want to receive feedback from someone who is where I want to be, someone that has been in business and has experienced different trials and tribulations, and they can give me feedback on what they've experienced. And it may or may not apply to me, but it's always good information to be aware of as I step into expanding my business. With that, we're going to take a quick break for our sponsor.
This episode is sponsored by Beyond Logic Coaching and Consulting with strategist, visionary, entrepreneur, and best-selling author Jill Fleming. Get your free gift at livingbeyondlogic.com.
Welcome back. You're listening to Time to Fly podcast. I'm your host, Jill Fleming, and one of the things that I've learned on my journey is to be very selective on who I receive feedback from, who I receive critique from, making sure those people are in the arena, not the people that are in the stands sitting on their butt going, hey, you should do it this way, but they've never actually done anything. They've never stepped out of their comfort zone, or maybe they have, but it wasn't successful, and now they believe in their mind, because that was their experience, that it won't work. I seek out people that have been in the arena, and maybe they've failed, but you know what? They got back up, they dusted themselves off, and they persevered. I want to surround myself with people who persevere, because you don't learn anything in the easy moments. You learn from the struggle. That was one of the things that I learned in this journey as I continue to step outside of my comfort zone, to continue to expand. The other thing to remember too is that your brain likes to be comfortable. And I've observed this in the multiple times that I've stepped out and I've stepped into the unknown, is that your brain, the inner chatter, the monkey mind, will try to talk you out of it. And when I'm mentoring someone through a change and I'm walking them through that process, I always tell them the first 6 to 8 weeks, sometimes up to 3 months, are going to suck, especially if it's a huge, huge change. If you're stepping out of your comfort zone, you're stepping into something completely new, your brain is actually very lazy. It doesn't like to learn something new. It loves routine, because then it doesn't have to work that hard. If you've ever moved to a new place and you're driving home and you realize that you're going to your old place instead of your new place, that is your brain being in a routine. And you're like, oh, wait, I live over here now. You have to catch yourself and specifically, consciously focus to get yourself to where you want to go. And that's the same thing as when you're taking that leap and stepping out of your comfort zone, of really being focused, of this is where I want to go. And your brain will try to talk you out of it because it's lazy and it doesn't want to have to learn something new. It doesn't want to have to learn where the grocery store is at or where the gas station is and having to go out and meet new people, because it's really uncomfortable for the brain to have to learn something new. And so if it can talk you out of it and be like, oh, you know what, we should just move back to where we are. Or, you know, it was really easy back at that old job. Or even in relationships sometimes. I've noticed in relationships sometimes it's like, oh, it was way more comfortable in that old relationship. even though it wasn't what I really wanted, as opposed to putting yourself out there and going after what you truly want. Realize that as you step out of your comfort zone, taking that leap towards something new, that the first two to 3 months are going to suck because your brain is going to try to talk you out of it. And then if you put people surrounding you, if you put the border bullies on top of it, it may make you step back into your comfort zone and not truly go after what you want. Just know that first 2 to 3 months is going to be very uncomfortable, but there's a tipping point. There's a tipping point of when you get past that uncomfortableness, of when the brain realizes that it can't talk you out of it, that you're truly going to do what you say you're going to do, and you're stubborn. You're stubborn in the path that you're choosing of this is what I'm going for. Your brain shifts and it starts to learn. And it starts to get comfortable again because the brain likes to be comfortable. So it starts to learn your way around the new community. You start to get more comfortable of, oh, I know where the grocery store is. Oh, I know where the gas station is. There's a restaurant I like now. And so those are the things that your brain will shift to start to be more comfortable again because it can't talk you out of going back to the old place. And that is how your comfort zone starts to expand. So for me, leaving corporate America and going into self-employment, that was a huge uncomfortableness for me. But I learned and I went after it, and I was stubborn of like, I'm going to expand this. And my friend Desmond also gave me, he's like, you get better doing what you do. And so as I shifted into self-employment full-time, I got better doing what I was doing because I was devoting more focus and devoting more energy to that. And then I realized that I hated winter. And so in Iowa, we had gotten 74 inches of snow. And I had decided that I'm going to go boycott winter somewhere nice and warm this winter. And I put an ad in an online magazine and ended up getting a place in Mexico to go to Mexico and spend the winter. And that was a huge step out of my comfort zone again, of being a single female, doesn't know Spanish. Is this the best choice for me to go to Mexico? And I realized it's like, what is the absolute worst case scenario? It's like, well, the absolute worst case scenario is I get down there, I don't like it, I pay a change ticket fee on my ticket, and I fly back. And so that opened up that space for me to go and experience and see what it would be like. See what it was like down there. It was completely outside of my comfort zone. It was very uncomfortable, but it was one of the best experiences that I've had of learning about myself, of being outside that comfort zone, experiencing other people who are out in the world and following those hopes, goals, and dreams. I met a woman during that experience in Mexico from Europe who was bike riding across North America. And she had flown over and purchased a bike. She had ridden up the west coast of the United States, had taken a ferry, had ridden through Alaska, had encountered bears, and had come back down and was bicycling through Mexico. And it was just really neat to meet her and hear about her experience of doing something out of the ordinary. I met another woman from Germany who was volunteering at a local turtle camp, and hearing her experience of leaving Germany to come to Mexico and have this adventure and have this journey that she was on. And I met another gentleman who was from Arizona who had sold all of his stuff and had his pickup and a pickup camper and his dog. And he was driving across Mexico to Central America. And it'd been something that was calling for him. And he was out on his own journey, out having his own adventure. And for those of you that are considering taking a leap and expanding your comfort zone, think about being the person in the arena of going out and striving and not just being the armchair quarterback, to actually go out and do and learn from that process, expand that comfort zone, because that is what's going to take you towards those hopes, goals, and dreams and have those in your life. And as I reflect on my journey, I would really encourage you to really think about your journey. What are those hopes, goals, and dreams? We're coming into a new year. What are those hopes, goals, and dreams that you have? What are areas in your life that you could step out of your comfort zone or leap out of your comfort zone to start expanding that? And if that's something that I can support you in from someone who is in the arena, who has been in the arena, that could be a mentor for you and a guide for you, I'd love to be that guide. So please reach out if that's something that you think that I might be able to help you. I always do free discovery calls. I'm always open to having a conversation to see if we're a good fit to work together. And you can always schedule your free consultation at schedulejill.com. And with that, I'm your host, Jill Fleming. It's time to fly, take that leap of faith, expand that comfort zone, and give your business wings.
A big thank you to this episode's sponsor, Beyond Logic Coaching and Consulting. Be sure to get your free gift at livingbeyondlogic.com.
Join our flock. Stay informed of all things Time to Fly by subscribing to our newsletter at timetoflypodcast.com. And be sure to tune in to our next show.